Trouble in paradise, as Israel's Prime Minister is not happy with the French President Emmanuel Macron. Israel Prime Minister says that the decision by the French government to recognize Palestine as a state is against Israel's interest and against the people of Israel, and also against the fundamental right of Israel, the right to defend itself. Emmanuel Macron has announced that the French government will, in September, when the UN General Assembly will be meeting, officially recognize Palestine as a state, which means that the French government recognize a two-state solution to resolve the issue in Palestine. Benjamin Netanyahu, Israel's prime minister, saying no way, no way. He says France has no right to actually legally recognize Palestine as a state, that Palestine is not a state, and that the decision by the French president is worth condemning with all sense of condemnation. But the French president is doubling down. Emmanuel Macron says that the people of Palestine deserve a state, and that the only solution to end the killings of thousands of people in Palestine, and also to reduce the attack on Israel's home soil, such that that site can be peaceful, is by legally recognizing Palestine as a state. France is the first powerful nation to actually recognize Palestine as a state, European nation to recognize Palestine as a state. And America, the Trump administration, is not also happy about this, because the Trump administration is fully in support with Israel. Donald Trump actually backed out from a peace talk which is ongoing between Hamas, Israel, and Palestinian authorities. Trump says Hamas does not have goodwill or good faith. I want you to watch this video.
A major diplomatic ripple is in fact spreading across the globe, ignited by French President Emmanuel Macron's announcement that France will officially recognize Palestine as a state. Now, this bold move could, of course, be formalized at the United Nations General Assembly in September, and it has sparked an immediate and a sharp rebuke from Israel, setting up a diplomatic face-off. The Macron declaring that France will officially recognize Palestine as a state puts him in a direct collision course with the Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu. Now, the announcement makes France the biggest Western power so far to recognize Palestine. Over 140 countries already recognize the Palestinian state, including more than a dozen in Europe.
I believe in the future of the two-state solution as the foundation of a regional security architecture that will allow Israel to live in peace and security with its neighbors. I believe in the need to unite our voices in Paris, London, and everywhere else to recognize a Palestinian state and initiate this political dynamic, which is the only one consistent with a perspective of peace.
Now, the reaction from Tel Aviv has been pretty furious. The Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu condemned Macron's announcement and called it a grave mistake to recognize a Palestinian state. He posted on X that such a move rewards terror and risks creating another Iranian proxy, just as Gaza became. He termed a Palestinian state in these conditions could be a launch pad to attack Israel. The Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Saar has also hit out at Emmanuel Macron. Saar said that President Macron cannot provide security to Israel. He took a dig at the French president, saying that he hoped that he succeeded in doing so on the streets of Paris. The opposition leader Yair Lapid said that it's time that Israel should put a clear proposal on the table to end the war and get the hostages back home. The reactions worldwide have highlighted a deeply divided international landscape on this issue. On the one side, the Palestinian Authority has warmly welcomed France's decision. Hamas has also welcomed the move as a positive step. In Europe, the sentiment is clearly shifting. Just days after France's announcement, several European countries, including the likes of Britain, alongside France and others, condemned the Israeli restrictions on aid and food shipments for the starving Palestinians in the Gaza Strip. The British Prime Minister Keir Starmer indicated that a ceasefire would put Europe on a path to the recognition of a Palestinian state and for the realization of a two-state solution. Now, this suggests a growing momentum among some European nations towards the recognition of Palestine as a state. Now, France's announcement also comes on the heels of the United States cutting short the Gaza ceasefire talks in Qatar, citing a lack of good faith from Hamas, which the group has vehemently denied. But the US President Donald Trump has dismissed Macron's statements on Palestine, saying that it lacks any weight.
Counterproductive to for France to say that they would recognize the Palestinian state. Macron said that yesterday.
Look, he's a different kind of a guy. He's okay. He's a team player, pretty much. But here's the good news. What he says doesn't matter. You know.
Now, Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney has also tweeted in support of a two-state solution, saying that the country will be pushing forward the agenda at the upcoming UN